Here we are for another rock and roll march. Gotta turn my head left or right before on the steps, although it's got plenty of seconds, 7 seconds, you never know. So gotta put my gloves because it's not a cold day in Montreal, and I've been already an hour and 90 and 33 minutes. More than an hour, 2:30 for about 77 minutes on the march. Saw something on special at the store. I got $3 and I got it. They couldn't tell me what it is, so it only said on the translation on the cherry on the side. It had a small French and English writing here in Quebec, La Belle Privee special march. So I got a $2.99 soft drink. So they couldn't tell me where it was from, although it has several languages from Eastern Europe and couldn't be detected, but whatever the case may be, it's really small writing on the print, and the translation patch was on its special march. Wednesday, January 22nd, Dragon versus Trump in solidarity with the HydroQuebec workers, in solidarity with the HydroQuebec workers, especially in solidarity with the HydroQuebec march. HydroQuebec workers on a cold day and those who lost powers, and to HydroQuebec workers here in the past, present, and future. Special rock and roll march. I just saw the truck and I was meditating where they're going, and you know how this has to be independent geopolitical theory, economist and theorist works. It is 24/7 the analysis of geopolitics, 24/7 the analysis of geopolitics, the theoretical analysis, and that's what it is with me. So I always interjected, seeing the truck, knowing that it's going towards the mountain, my second home, which I almost went today, but since I left a bit delayed, said I'm gonna switch, and go towards the sun and change a little bit of that routine as we did yesterday. Although I have a strict regimented routine 24/7 for years and years and years, So seeing the truck, HydroQuebec truck, going east. Now I'm going north. The sun is out west. It is past 3:33 p.m. EST, Hawk Island, Montreal. So gotta be watching here because there's black ice. Although there's been a lot of work done, I see there's sand and salt, and gotta be watching it because there's still black ice. So I just gotta be prudent for myself and for the others, especially since I'm filming, because I'm in the public. So I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations. So I gotta get that hawk HAWKIs, and gotta stay on the right side. So I was meditating, of course, on where they're going with that, and with the truck, and what the work that they're doing, because thanks to HydroQuebec, I had heat and electricity at my place, and all the heat and electricity that we get on the go there, and that we have across Quebec, La Belle Province, and all 5 or 6 states, or 1/5, that is, 20% of the electricity from HydroQuebec goes all the way to Manhattan Island, New York. So something to keep in mind, and something to keep in mind that this march is Dragon versus Trump special edition, still challenging, have Donald Trump to boxing much on the Canadian-US border, and of course still am challenging Donald Trump on the Canadian-US border ever since the first imposition of tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel in 2018. And here I'm in the public, so I gotta stay on the right side, just like driving. As I go towards the sun, I'm gonna pass a little bit slightly, just 3 streets I decided, into my own neighborhood. Nothing that I want to go back to, but since, of course, due to getting more sunlight and turning towards the sun, getting more sunlight, I'm gonna take that decision to get it on the go, So we gotta get it for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, all those delivering now, especially in solidarity with HydroQuebec event. Because just before 44 seconds, almost 45 seconds, when I saw the truck going east, big HQ HydroQuebec truck, I meditated already, put it as, I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist, and of course my mind switches to geopolitical analysis in the terms that, of course, I had predicted that there will be an international conflagration, aka World War III, back in October, November 2019. And so whenever I see those trucks, we're dependent on electricity, and there's a potential open for espionage and sabotage, There's a potential opening for sabotage and espionage. And during COVID, we had some espionage deals and some controversy about spies of HydroQuebec, and it's our infrastructure security is a purpose, and we got to secure liberty. You got to get that 50-50 with it. You got to get that 50-50 with it. You got to get that 50-50 with it. And now as I go march towards the sun, rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. And I don't know what that is, like a cherry drink, and I tried to get some explanation, and because it was small writing, and they had some difficulty translating it, and the paper was very small in English and French, because I can read French and English, but for some reason it was so small that I had trouble reading it. Guess I'm gonna have to get a magnifying glass when I get back to headquarters. Gonna get that magnifying glass just to read it well, and of course make sure that I read it properly. Gotta circumvent the youth here, the youth. Gotta watch it for the youth here. Circumvent the youth. Gotta go like a snake, you know? Like that. For the youth, like that. Anyway, so I gotta go like that, and now it's beautiful towards the sun, kind of beautiful sunny day, but you know, it's kind of very cold, you know, it's still very cold day, and I'm just gonna switch, because you got enough of my face, and point towards the face of faces, the king, my pope, the king, the sun. My pope, the king, the sun, the face of faces. My pope, the king, the sun. The face of faces, my pope, the king, the sun. As I think I'm gonna have to actually now go 3 streets, but actually the next streets, best if I turn around right away. And that's my old neighborhood. It's really one island, Montreal Hawk Island. As I go on the march now for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, those in the daycare changing some diapers, my anonymous friend, and all those, of course, who have been and will be involved in the production, distribution of food, the production and distribution of food, you know. That is what it is. And here we got the beautiful electric lion. Lion, see? It's a lion. It's not really a lion, but it's of course electricity, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful line there, and the children getting a little bit of grimace pointed towards the lion, because that's the name, and it's electric. And I gotta check again, because there was some financial difficulties with it, so now I gotta interject and see if there's any update with that, and see what's going on with the lion electric here at Quebec. And we need to get that 50-50, pro-labor, revolutionary, centrist, rainbow, dragon, rock and roll always, HydroQuebec today. Thinking about them, and of course HydroQuebec is a big institution and decades old, and that's why we got that electricity, and you know, civilization being a privilege. And see, that's where it kind of demarks my neighborhood. So you know what, I'm just gonna go like at the border of my own neighborhood, because I don't want to go back to nothing. Besides, I just remember moving. So I moved from a place where it's an underground moldy place, and I don't remember much. I have that rah, kind of like retrograde amnesia. I've lost the memory. I have like blackouts, like accessing my memories prior to that. In my life, there's some difficulty. I remember moving and was depressed, suicidal, ill. Started working out, training, exercising after I crossed Canada coast to coast in 2017, and that event got me out of being depressed and suicidal. And after, since then, I crossed Canada. That was an event which completely changed my life. Crossing Canada coast to coast. I was depressed, suicidal. Crossed Canada coast to coast. Established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. And ever since then, I've been working out, training, exercising, and creating my own workout training program system in 2019. But in 2017, in August, September, the summer of 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast, and that event really changed my whole life. I was depressed, suicidal prior to that. I was depressed and suicidal, you know, so that event really kind of completely turned my whole life around. And I will always say, if I would have not moved from where I used to live, from there somewhere underground moldy place, I would have probably been dead or in jail. And I spent many years, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, read hundreds of books, written tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, rock and roll songs, and geopolitical analysis and theory, because I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted what's happening now across the world. I predicted an international conflagration back in 2019, October, November, so I'm marking 5 years since that event, and I created my own workout training program system to go with such an event, hand in hand with such an event back then. And of course, I survived COVID in 2020, February, March. I'm going to mark 5 years soon, February, March, since I survived COVID. And COVID for me was really hardcore. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know when I say how I felt. I really thought I was gonna die. In many ways, I did die right there in my underground room, Austin Temple. But it was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know it sounds like a hardcore rock and roll song. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. I survived that. I credit my survival to the goddess. The goddess, as I will to build the forgotten goddess temple on the Canadian-US border, parallel to the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and the pyramid, the crimson scarlet, which is scarlet and crimsons are shades of red, the House of the Dragon, and the Rainbow People's Palace right on the Mount Royal, my second home, which is a few kilometers away. Is my new place is a few miles and kilometers away. So here's kind of between my old neighborhood. This was my old neighborhood there. Starting from here, here's like the demarcation line, but it's really one borough. NDG, Côte des Neiges, City and NDG. In Montreal, Hawk Island. What does that say? Still crazy after all these years since 1999. Ha! I sing some rock and roll for the truckers on the road. Carrying those diapers and the bacon and the cheese and those underwear and the socks which I got yesterday's event. You can see it in my videos. Encouraging all to work out, train, exercise. Gonna go towards the sun, change lanes, and gonna watch here so I don't fall because it's really slippery, you know. It's really slippery some places, but I gotta thank the public workers nonetheless, because I think they did a fair job, you know, to put the salt. So here kind of is where my old neighborhood here, from there, like my old neighborhood starts from the corner here, the corner of my old neighborhood there, and kind of on this side, southwest is my new neighborhood. Nothing that I want to go back to, and I wish I could have something better, but I'm grateful for what I have. It's way better than where I used to live. I'm grateful for what I have, and I really don't have to wait here. I'm just gonna keep on moving and encouraging all the workout, train, exercise as we go on this freestyle rock and roll event. You know, it's 24/7 for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, electricians, plumbers, LOV to the firefighters, LOV to the cooks. You know, those in the warehouse workers, chopping up, loading up. Some of those warehouse workers going up and down. Those construction workers on the cranes, LOVE. It's not all about the Wall Street, buying, selling future auction puts. Give some charity, millionaires, support the dream. My dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across the North American Collective Civilizational Complex, across the Collective North American Civilizational Complex, across the North American Complex, North America, Quebec, Canadian, and I have been entered politics. I stayed on the sidelines until Trump, of course, imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, on Canadian aluminum and steel, you know. That's what it is with that, and that's what it is with the XYZ, so that's what I gotta do, and that's why I gotta be turning my head here left or right before I cross the street, you know, just to make sure I don't slip. And I see some crows going on on the row, in a row. They going up in the north. Crows are heading north. I'm heading west towards the sunset, and freestyle rock and roll with it. Always grateful, thankful. My rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and saluting the construction workers, public workers across North America. Thank you for the sanitation work, picking up the garbage collection, trash collection, garbage, public sanitation, and the recycling work. More crows going north. I'm gonna head up in the sun, and I gotta pull now it's getting a little bit better. It's a cold day today. Yesterday it seems like it was a bit colder, but I guess because I left, depending what time you leave, and it seems slightly better than yesterday today, but it's supposed to be cold tomorrow as well. Busy working out, cleaning, and everything gotta go from my place. 93% auctioning for $1 million, everything that I'm wearing. The hoodie, the hat. Gonna give half, 50% to my anonymous friend, and that's what it is, 50% half, and that's what we gotta get doing with that, and we gotta get doing for the XYZ, you know. And we gotta get on that circumvention. I gotta just press the button here, see if it's gonna get the changing of the card here, see. Je passe l'autre fer, mon frère. Il m'avait l'autre bord, merci. Going on the other way. He said it's green in French. I said thanks, brother, but I'm going the other way. I appreciate it because it was green. He's passing on there, but he said in French, c'est vert, and I told him merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, but I'm going the other direction, you know. So thank you. I appreciate that. You know, And that's why we gotta look out for each other, you know? Gotta help each other out in whatever we can. And financially, I can't. I'm financially stressed. I'm financially stressed. It's financially stressed, you know? But that's what it is. And that's what we gotta get doing, you know? And I'm grateful. I'm joyous, actually, you know? It's very joyous. Gotta sing for the crows. Goddess. He created Master Goddess Omen, Special 93, 156. My enemies be pestilential. You know, so as I go towards the sun now, you know, it's carpe diem it every day. I'm really excited to try that cherry drink. I know it's cherry drink, but I'm really excited to put it under the microscope. It's so small, I'm probably going to show it in another video. I could pull it out and show it here on this video, but I kind of got it on. It's already in the, which is more than 44. See? More than 44, almost 45. More than 44, almost 45. 45 pounds now, so if I take it off, because it's in the backpack, it was special, reduced from like, I think it was the original price was kind of way too much. It was $5.99, but it's imported, right? So the cost to import it is high, you know. So the import cost is high to transport it all the way, you know. To transport it all the way here. From, they couldn't tell me exactly where it was from. They said it has both Russian, Ukrainian, and something which looks like Bulgarian language on it. Bulgarian, Russian, and Ukrainian. So it could be either of those three. It was those three languages, the inscription. Bulgarian, Russian, or Ukrainian. Unless it's a mix, it's a joint company, Bulgarian, Ukrainian, and Russian. That I don't know. I do know is that the small writing in French and English was really small. Beautiful red. So that was really small, and I have to put it on the microscope. I had trouble reading it. It was so tiny. Very small writings. It was just said that it's for import-export and some more specification there, but other than that, I couldn't say what it was, you know. I couldn't say what it was, but I just saw the cherries on it and asked what it was, and they said that is some sort of cherry drink. Anyways, it was half price from $2.99. Original $5.99. So basically $6. I paid $3. It was basically $6. So half price. So I guess it was a good deal. Big reduction. Half price. And I never had it. And I said, I'm going to have some of that, you know. They got to get it on the go. So that's what we got to get doing with that. And sometimes we got to be mindful, you know. It's a beautiful sun, but it's cold. Kind of cold with that, and that's why we gotta get on the cold side, and it's something which we gotta be mindful of what we do on a daily basis, you know. And the gratitude which one has to. Gratitude is great for mental health, for my mental health and working out training. And now, you know, I was stressed, financially stressed. I checked, and hey, beautiful birdie, LOVE. I was stressed, and I checked my emails, and I sent some emails for, because I have, you know, scars and I have things on my body which I need to go to a dermatologist, and he told me that, got me a response. He said, but he said it's $300 per consultation. I said $300 per consultation, $300, and I don't know if I can be sponsored by whatever, because right now I'm financially stressed, but I said, well, I cannot afford that right now. And I was quite surprised by the cost for one consultation, but whatever, you know, money is to do, to buy, to bear. So I'm not totally selfless, but I wouldn't be that selfish. If I would have had billionaires, now billions, I would have definitely went from when Trump got elected, and I would distribute it. If I would have had 44 billions, I would have taken 10%, the equivalent of 4.4 billion, which is a billion has 9 zeros, so that would have been 4,400 million. And I went across North America, I would have given 50,000 to different individuals, and I would have said, and this is your second chance, this is my redemption. This is your second chance, this is my redemption. This is your second chance, this is my redemption. Dragon versus Trump, how about signing 3 executive orders? One to raise the federal minimum wage. Raise the federal minimum wage. These tough economic times for many hit hard during COVID, and one for the rebuilding of the North American inner urban cities, aka the ghettos, rebuilding of the North American inner cities, aka the ghettos, rebuilding of the North American inner cities, aka the ghettos, and one for healthcare for all. Healthcare for all. Healthcare for all. Gotta get out of the way of the youth. Gotta salute the youth. As I march forward towards the sun, you know, I always gotta take a step and watch my own, because, you know, living with Asperger's, HFA, I have strange, awkward bodily movements, and which can seem awkward and weird, and sometimes, you know, are misinterpreted and misunderstood. People with Asperger's, and, you know, it's a high unemployment rate among Aspies like myself, 80%, but we can be very good in some things which we are known as our special focused interest, also known as obsessive interest. But obsessive interest, I don't use the term obsessive, because obsessive is for more neurotypicals, and we're being neurodivergent. This morning I was just spent like 3.5 hours just drinking coffee and analyzing geopolitical events, and going back to my theory, my propositions, my revisions, and back and forth and study and analysis. And I just realized that it was 8 o'clock, and then it was close to noon. So that's what it is. So I said close to noon. I said, wow, did I spend 4 hours just immersed, super focused, super intense? So that's what Asperger's is. HFA is not a mental illness, it's a neurological mental divergent condition, which, when we're involved in those specific interests, we can be super intense, super focused, super concentrated. And my holy trinity of special interest, also known as obsessive interest, is geopolitics. The study, the analysis of geopolitics occurs daily, and I can spend hours and hours and hours and a day just doing that for years and years and years with a kind of a ritualized routine. Sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport, and dancing is my favorite fitness activity. So basically that's one thing. Sports, fitness, dance is pretty much physical activity, right? Pretty much physical activity, but dancing is my favorite physical activity and fitness activity and sport. And rock and roll. I enter in rock and roll trances. Sometimes I don't realize. So a lot of people, I lost a lot of friends, because sometimes I just start singing some rock and roll, you know, because it's constantly on my mind, creation of rock and roll songs, and that's what it is, being an artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical, honest, and theorist, and mystic. I was born in the USA 3 times post 1776, once a woman, twice a man. I served in the United States Army 2 times. I served in the United States Army twice. 156 years apart, same army, different wars. It's 156 years apart, same army, different wars, and same army, different wars, and same army, and different wars, you know, different wars. That's what it is with that, and that's all we gotta go doing it. So that's what it is, you know. So get a little bit of action, get a bit of LOVE. Gotta get a little bit of LOVE, you know, for the sunset. The sunset, sun rises. It's 45 minutes, more than 44 minutes to the sunset. Although there's a little bit of a cloud, black gray cloud, you know. Always gotta encourage people to work out, train, exercise. I started my fitness journey after I crossed Canada coast to coast in 2017. That event really changed my whole life. Crossing Canada made me have a revelation and an awakening, and I've established a strong esprit de corps. Quebecers, Canadians are my family, you know, so watch out, Donald Trump. I can extend it because I was in the USA born in the past life. As I always say, I'm a North American, Canadian, Quebecer, Canadian, North American, Canadian, Quebecer, North American. Play that North American Union, support the dream for the North American Collective, the Democratic Republic, the dream, the kingdom, which I'm laying the foundations with trillions of kisses created from the forgotten goddess. From above the high lit star heavens. First kingdom empire to be founded with trillions of kisses and push-ups. Trillions of marching steps in parallel to those kisses. Trillions of marching steps in parallel to those kisses. Trillions of marching steps in parallel to those kisses. Let's build together the 44 tunnels inspired by the Cheyenne complex, NORAD complex headquarters, the Cheyenne Mountain complex, and the Montreal Underground Village. Let's build 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war together for the defense coast to coast. My protocols initiatives are fundamentally and only for the defense, security, and service of the collective North American civilizational complex, of the collective North American civilizational complex of North America. Security, service, and defense only. Security, service, and defense only. Security, service, and defense only. Those are the Trinity of theories: CIT, citizen integration theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and the democratic fusion theory. Democratic fusion theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and the CIT, citizen integration theory, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance. Allegiance, hope you have an understanding. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance. Allegiance, hope you have an understanding. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance. Allegiance, hope you have an understanding. Gotta get it on the march. And LOV now, the DRT, debt refusion theory. The debt refusion theory is the only solution for the financial situation which we have now in the public finances of Canada, due to the fact that now we pay 46.5 billion in interest only. That's the motive why I'm making that, the reason, the motive, the statement that I'm making, that due to the fact that today we pay 46.5 billion in interest. That is the motive why I make the statement, and the reason behind my statement that it is the only solution, which gotta be implemented across the North American collective. Gotta watch it here. Turn your head left or right. So the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory. The debt refusion theory is the only solution, and the motive that I make that statement is to the fact that today we pay 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. We paid last year on the public debt of Canada, debt servicing, aka the interest we paid on the public debt, was 46.5 billion. In 2020, 2021, the amount was 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion double. That's 40.6 billion, 40.6 billion, 40.6. So it more than doubled. Paying the interest more than double, paying the interest more than doubled, paying the interest more than doubled, paying the interest on the public debt more than doubled. That is the amount of interest which we paid on the public debt, 46.5 billion. It went from 20.3 billion to 46.5 billion. So 20.3 times 2, that's 40.6 to 46.5 billion, 46.5 billion. So 20.3 times 2, that's 40.6. That would have been double. In 2020, 2021 fiscal year, public finances of Canada, the interest we paid was 20.3 billion. 3 years later, of course, due to COVID, the programs implemented due to COVID health emergency had made it such that the paying the interest has more than doubled. From 20.3 billion in 2020, 2021, we now paid 46.5 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. So that's 46,000 million. So the amount is a staggering amount if you just calculate that. Just servicing the public debt. Servicing the debt, meaning the interest only, the interest. So make an interjection on a private note, as a private citizen, if your payments of the interest that you would have paid on the public debt, if they would have doubled, more than double, let's say from 156 to 333, from 156 to 333, let's say from 156 in 2020, 2021 to 333, to 333. So that means if there would have been double, that implies that if your salary doesn't double, it only increases by 5, 10, or 15%, but your interest payments double. The amount that you have to pay in interest doubles. If the amount that you have to pay in interest doubles, that means that you have to reduce your budget. What are you going to cut? The Netflix? You're going to cut, you got to pay rent and hydro. Those are I always paid first. Always never missed on rent payments, although financially stressed for many years, although I had many employments, and there was some time when I had employment for a few months, a few weeks. I had more money, but nonetheless, I don't have credit cards. I do not have credit cards myself. I have a credit line. So I lived a very austere, severe lifestyle. Lived a very severe, austere lifestyle, but very active, mentally and physically. Very super active, mentally and physically. Mentally and physically super active, you know. And yes, I do love wafers. I do love wafers. I do love wafers. And I enjoy wafers a lot, and I'm gonna enjoy that cherry. I guess it's soda from Eastern Europe. At first for me, so it was reduced in half. Very expensive usually. I said, well, it's gonna be a treat after my workout, or I might just even hold it for the for the Sabbath or after the weekends. I think I'm gonna do that, and I think I have a little bit of juice at home, or if not, just water, and I got coffee, so I'm good. But nonetheless, the fact is that if your debt servicing, if your interest doubles, the amount that one pays, if you paid in 2020, 2021, 156 in interest, and now 3 years later, your interest amount that you pay, just the interest on your debt, let's say on your credit card or credit cards plural, that means that if from 156 it goes to 333, and your salary stays stagnant or increases by 3, 4, 5%, 10%, 15%, because how many salaries doubled? But that's what happened with the interest on the public debt. The interest which we paid in 3 years, it more than doubled, just the interest. So you realize that the GDP economy of Canada only grew by 2, 3%. It didn't double. It did not double. It did, far from doubling. You know, it goes 2, 3, 5%. No, max, not even not 5%, 2 or 3%. Right? Sometimes it even goes in the negative GDP. So, in my exactly as an individual would, if your salary doesn't double, 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 then that means that you would have to pay. You would have to reduce your budget. You're gonna have to cut in the costs. What are you gonna cut? Where are you gonna cut? Well, you have to make the budget decision. Maybe no more going out to the movies, maybe less cheese, less wine, no more bacon, right? Netflix, Disney subscription, the internet, change the internet, phone bills. So, you know, if you have for work, phones and internet is pretty much essential now. I guess also for entertainment, although for entertainment, you know, although for entertainment also, you know, that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. And that's what it is for the go, you know. So we gotta circumvise, and sometimes we just gotta do, you know. We just gotta do with that. We just gotta do, man. We just gotta do. I said, March towards the sun, my Publik king. So my DRT theory is the only solution. It's a paradox, having suffered, struggled due to Asperger's, you know, HFA with neurodivergence, and out of this suffering and curse comes the blessing of me having geopolitics as a special focus interest. And when you study that geopolitics, you gotta know a little bit about public finances. About public finances. So knowing a little bit about public finances, I present the DRT on the table, the debt refusion theory, which is the only solution. The debt refusion theory. There's no other way around it. The debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange. So I'm going to explain it. And keep in mind, my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, also includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So the monetary integration theory is integrated in my DRT theory, standing for debt refusion theory, which again is the only solution due to the fact that we Canadians, on the servicing the public debt, the interest we pay on the public debt has more than doubled. So there's no other way out of this situation. So, or something very similar to my DRT theory, to my debt refusion theory, to my DRT theory, to my DRT theory, to my debt refusion theory, to my debt refusion theory, to my debt refusion theory, the DRT theory. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, And again, keep in mind that my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory. And monetary integration theory is exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union, which was implemented in the European Union, which was implemented in the European Union. So monetary integration theory, of course, monetary integration theory is exactly the financial theory which the French, the Italians, the Germans, they destroyed their own national banks. The Germans, the Italians, the French, many countries in Europe, they destroyed their own national banks, their own national central banks. They no longer have a national central bank like they did in the 80s and 90s and before that for hundreds of years, right? They had a national central bank. So for hundreds of years they had a national central bank. But now there's the ECB since the 90s, which is a supranational central bank of central banks of nations, of different nations, right? In the 90s. The European Central Bank is the joint bank of the European Union, which issues the new currency called the euro. So my DRT theory includes that monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, including my $10,000. I got $10,000 in debt to the Royal Bank account. So my debt, your debt, our debt, their debt, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars. We're going to convert it into US dollars. We're going to convert it into US dollars. Because the United States dollar still is, although very challenged now by BRICS. Only very challenged now by BRICS. Very challenged now by BRICS. The BRICS. Still the currency of choice. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, LOVE, firefighters. So we're going to take LOVE. We're going to take all the public private debt, including my $10,000, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. That money, we're going to convert it into US dollars. 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 So all that money, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, we're going to convert it into US dollars. Into US dollars, into US dollars. Into US dollars, into US dollars. So all that money, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All that money, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All the money, we're going to convert it into US dollars. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Primary, first and foremost, Canada. In Canada, the DRT implemented. But of course, binational. Like the establishment of the NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, and the newly PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, rock and roll. I wish I could get that jersey, afford it, but financially stressed. But that's my first expense to get the Victoire, Montreal Professional Women's Hockey League, Professional Women's Hockey League, Victoire Professional Women's Hockey League, Victoire Professional Women's Hockey League, Victoire jersey. The Professional Women's Hockey League, Victoire jersey. You know, the Professional Women's Hockey League jersey, Victoire. The Professional Women's Hockey League jersey, Victoire. And that's all we gotta get doing on that, you know. So Professional Women's Hockey League, the Victoire. Look at those beautiful squirrels. They just kissed the black one and the white one. They just kissed the black one and the white one. Play black and white and rainbow. Wear the black and white and rainbow. Play black and white and rainbow with the red, red, red scarlet. That's what I said. DRT, detrifusion theory. The only solution. So the DRT, detrifusion theory, for the creation of the UE. So all the debt, public and private, Canada first, binationally preferably, create this new center, right? Mexico, if they will, Mexico, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba is a paradox, but Cuba is also part of North America. But Canada first and foremost, principally, but preferably Canada, US at the same time. So all the debt converted to US dollars, all Canadian public private debt, including my $10,000, all that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All that money will be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. So all the debt, public and private, will be the initial money supply for a new central bank. For a new central bank. For a new central bank. Or we're going to create a new currency based on the value of the US dollars, because that's why we convert the currency. We're going to call this new currency the UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit. Based on the value of the US dollar, we're going to put an interest rate level of 10% after. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 6.1, 9.3, 4.18, 1.56, 3.33, below 10%. Below 10% maximum, below 10% maximum. After we implement the DRT theory. So all the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new currency, a new central bank. With that money, we're going to be able to mass rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective, rebuild the bridges, the highways, the streets, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance fitness, mass finance tourism, so many things to see, tourism for wellness based on one of my theoretical papers, which I've written, the initiative, a need, initiative, public-private partnership, citizen initiative for the North American initiative for wellness via tourism project program. So something like a long fancy academics called intellectual title, but it has got to find. I wrote it years ago after I came out of that depression, 2017. Many of my writings, and which I'm dictating orally in an oral communicative manner, which I'm dictating in an oral communicative manner, which I'm dictating orally in a communicative manner, which I'm dictating orally in a communicative manner, orally mostly. So we're gonna mass finance tourism, we're gonna mass finance fitness with that money, rebuild the North American infrastructure, rebuild the North American inner cities, aka the North American ghettos, mass rebuilding of the North American ghettos, aka the North American urban inner cities. With that, we're gonna mass finance citizens. Let's see how much the price is. $9.99. $10. That's the price. $10. Gonna get it on the go. So with that money, we're gonna be able to do a lot of good. Mass finance citizens, mass finance the building, the construction of 44 tunnels. 44 tunnels, basically like the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. The NORAD Cheyenne Mountain headquarters. Not just the Cheyenne Complex, but of course the Cheyenne and the Montreal Underground. These 44 tunnels to be built in case of a thermonuclear war for the civilizational safeguard of North America, the continuity of the North American civilization. For the continuity of the North American civilization, we're gonna rebuild these tunnels, and beautiful. They're staying on the up top there. See, gotta give it. So that's how I need to build and reconstruct, and gotta get it for the birds there. I'm staring at the birds, and they're finally. Just saw somebody coming, and gotta check my optometrist, gotta check my eyes. I can't see well from afar off, and I think my vision from afar off is kind of blurred, so I really gotta check my eyes. Maybe that's why I couldn't read the small writings. So my eyes gotta check my scars, a lot of medical, but I'm well besides that, I gotta look out for my fellow citizens like a hawk, Just watch out for the cars, When you cross the street, turn your heads left or right, because I saw my fellow citizen just on the phone and took a few steps, and I was ready to scream, hey, back up, watch it, be careful, because you better turn your heads left or right. I do it 3 times, left and right, even when there's a stop or a light, because you never know, you know, so you gotta be prudent. You gotta be prudent in the public, you know, because right here in the corner, see, is there, accelerates. What if it presses the accelerator instead of the brake? And this one and that one, so I gotta have my eyes like a hawk, H-A-W-K, because I'm in the public, and here with my Asperger's, being weird, neurodivergent, you know, I gotta be watching that prudence, double prudence, because you never know. What if the brakes malfunction? What if the citizen driver presses the accelerator instead of the brakes? Those are all things which are, of course, hypothetical, speculative, and in the realms of what ifs, but it's possible, because now I am in the public. I have added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which I don't have under the normal circumstances of life. I don't have under the normal circumstances of life, you know. As I see that sun shining, you know, so that's what it is with that. And it breaks down those black dark gray clouds to get a little bit of sunlight, and gotta watch it here when I traverse and be prudent, you know. See, that's the lion. It's a lion. It's a lion. See, it says lion there. And it's electric. It's Quebec company. I was thinking of buying, not myself, but financing a financial public-private partnership to get some of those lines for my citizen tourism wellness initiative, to mass finance citizens for tourism, to see across all this Canada, across Quebec, see how many things we have here. And that's why I say protocols for the new Dragon Army initiative, calling for the establishment by my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, to establish the consequential, complementary, covenant, cooperative institutions, the Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Citizen Security Service and Defense Only Force, Security Service and Defense Only Force, Security Service and Defense Only Force, only for Security Service and Defense, Dragon Army. We're gonna play that defense like that hardball ball, aka blackout ball. 49ers lost. Please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Please reduce the cost of the tickets by 44.9%, 44.9%, 44.9%. Super important to reduce it. That's the estimated cost of the reduction needed in order to keep, of course, keep, and with the cost of living increases and BNS, mass finance, the building, and the consequential with the Dragon Army, establishment of the North American Integrated Dance League, aka that Dancing Goddess Army, aka that Dancing Goddess Army, aka that Dancing Goddess Army. The Dancing Goddess Army for the environment, for pleasure and purpose, to dance. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity. Universal revolutionary centrist, androgynous pansexual Adrian Hanna Dragon. Please refrain from using my name unless it's for a blessing. Please refrain using my name unless it's for a blessing. Please refrain in using my name unless it's for a blessing. Hope you have an understanding, you know. So that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for that, you know. So we gotta get that on the go, and gotta get on the go. So gotta get that on the go. I gotta blow my nose. I'm really full of, like, wait a second, let me see. Hope I got something close by. I think I do. I'm full of phlegm, and my nose is full of stuff. Anyways, and my nose is full of stuff, you know. My nose is full of stuff, you know, so that's what it is. And that's what it is with that. That's what we gotta get doing, you know. So it's something which we gotta be consequential about it, you know. So you gotta be thinking about lots of LOV, you know, and lots of good stuff. And you know, I've been cursed, but I've been cursed with Asperger's, autism. I lost a lot of employments, jobs, and opportunities. But in the past, like 45 months, I've accepted it, you know. Because for many years, many years. We gotta get it on the go, get it on the go, get it on the go. So for many years, you know, for many years, I've been diagnosed. Said, you know, many people, many different people, citizens, and some doctors said that, you know, you have Asperger's, you're an Asper, you have HFA, high functioning autism, and I always kind of said no, I didn't want to bear the stigma until finally more than 44 months ago, I've accepted it and I live with it. And thank you to Aspie World, online Aspie World, my anonymous friend who wasn't my friend because of the money for the books. Because I have to manage my characteristics. It's not symptoms. There's not symptoms of Asperger's. Symptoms is more for a mental illness. The characteristics of Asperger's, people with HFA, are special concentrated interests or special focused interest. And yes, I can be super intense, super concentrated when I march. Marching and dancing is part of now. I'm busting dance moves and rock and roll and meditating on geopolitics. Right? It can be for hours and hours and hours. Yesterday I did more than 6 hours and 44 minutes. 6 hours and 44 minutes. Yesterday I did more than 6 hours and 44 minutes. You only saw two parts. 48 minutes and 45 minutes. 93 minutes. 93, 96 minutes. More than an hour and a half. But because I don't have the means to record with the battery, doing the under-cold. The battery, and of course the length of the battery. And the length of the video is only what I have. Let me blow my nose a bit. Just gonna blow my nose and gonna put it in the garbage. But yeah, that's what it is, and that's what I gotta get doing with that. So something, there we go. So thank you those who collect the garbage, the compost, the recycling, public workers. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What did that mean? What a beautiful sunset. Always grateful. Look at that beautiful pile of snow there. You can play a little bit in it. Play a little bit in the snow, freely. The children, the youth, I guess, can go have a little fun, but be careful, don't cross in the streets, and with prudence and careful, they can go have fun there, I guess. Prudency, with maybe with parental assistance, but that's what it is with that, and that's how we can go with that, that's how I can go with that, and so we can go, you know. So it's something which, of course, I always got to be mindful of, as I carpe diem it every day since I died of COVID. 2020, 2021. 21 I got vaccinated already. 2020, I actually had it twice, but the second and third time was milder every time. I had like 3 times COVID. 2020, 2021, and then like 2022 or something like that, you know. So something like that, you know, something like that. Please, no food waste, no food waste. Was that food waste? Got food at home. I guess somebody dropped it, but that's what it is with that. That's what it is with a go. So anyways, and I had COVID. I just wanted to see what it was. I think it was a tuna sandwich or something like that, but World War III type of scenario, you know, food scarcity, and that's what it is, and that's what we gotta get doing with that, and that's what we gotta get implemented, you know. And I'm gonna propose again. I think since it's the Dragon versus Trump event, you know, since from the latest news, Trump mentioned that on the 1st of February he will impose 25% tariff on all goods from Canada. This time it's 2018 in spring. It was 10% on only aluminum and steel. Aluminum and steel on only aluminum and steel. But this time it's supposed to be 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 25% on all goods. 25% on all goods. 25% on all goods. So imagine that. That is a staggering amount. That is a staggering amount. Huge amount. A huge amount. That is a huge amount. So that huge amount, of course, 25% is a quarter. That's 25 cents, 25 cents. 25 cents, 25 cents. So that is a huge amount in terms of percentage wise. Now I'm gonna do a meditation because you see, my mind, due to Asperger's, HFA, high functioning autism, is of course geared towards geopolitics. So now I see this train here. See the train there? Thank you, train conductors, butchers, bakers. And as I finish discussing my DRT theory for the creation of the UN, mentioning that I will propose again to my anonymous friend, open BDSM switch, androgynous, special marriage alliance, you know. Want to marry this crazy Aspie, and androgynous and pansexual 50-50, and only friends with benefits from now on. Pledge your allegiance, legions only. Friends with benefits from now on. Pledge your allegiance, legions only. Friends with benefits from now on. Pledge your allegiance, legions. And I gotta cross the street here, but you see, there is the train. So anyways, I was saying that I will propose for early deadline by February 1st if Trump imposes tariffs, and gonna get that proposition, you know, to get it on the go. So what is this? What is this? Canada, made in Canada, made in Canada. I do say made in Canada. Is there stuff? So I'm gonna just go take a look at the train and go inspect the bag. This is gonna be, has to be recycled or put, because here we got squirrels, and if they get in it and the bag gets torn, you know. But I was just checking out because I know here I know this area, you know, this is my new neighborhood, and here there's lots of squirrels, and I saw the maple leaf. See? It's proudly made in Canada, proudly made in Canada, proudly made in Canada. Like yours truly, who died during COVID being reborn. Died on the island of Montreal here in my underground room house in Temple, nothing that I want to go back to. Was born here on the island of Montreal in a past life. Born in the USA 3 times, post 70-76, once a woman, twice a man. And here we are. I'm just going to turn my head left to right. Although I know this is one way, in theory, although it's one way, although it is one way, still turn your heads left and right, because you never know, the brakes malfunction, and the brakes can potentially malfunction, the electricity and what have you, you know, so of the brakes, that is. So it's all these possibilities. So here we have the train. So to interject this train here, I'm gonna put my mind how my mind is. But just to finish up, what I was saying is, of course, I'm planning to propose again in an open BDSM switch, cuckold marriage, whatever the case may be, marriage alliance, being androgynous, pansexual, part of the LGBTQ community, 50-50. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, legions. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, legions. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, legions. And that's the song, pledge your allegiance, legions, friends with benefits only. And here we are, we're gonna check what it is. We're gonna do a little bit of the smelly. Let's do a little rock and roll on the road for the production of the only 70 calories per cup, though. Per cup, you gotta check. Let's check the expiry date. Let's see. Yes, it's World War III type of situation. Not being in a World War III mode, everything since 2019, October, November. And imagine if I wouldn't have had any food now, and I would have been, you know, either homeless or vet, to the mountain, that's built together, the pyramid, house of the dragon, scarlet, red, crimson, scarlet, red, crimson. Those scarlet and crimsons are shades of red, so I don't know, fresh or no fresh. Smell first, inspect. Freshness, so. inspect by the eye, although my vision. Sweet and salty. Imperial snacks, imperial snacks, imperial snacks. French Cancan is a trading mark, or French Cancan is a mark of imperial snacking made in Canada from domestic and imported ingredients. No cholesterol free, trans fat free, vegan product, gluten free, all that. Wow, that's the first time. I'm gonna write to them. Made in Canada, imperial snacking equipment. So proudly made in Canada. Gonna be a taker. Go Canada, go Dragon versus Trump, I guess. Maybe in my drag when I challenge Donald Trump to on the boxing match on the Canadian-US border, maybe Imperial Snacking can provide all the popcorn, Help fundraise, Actually, this is not gonna hold a lot, but I have another one. I'm just gonna put it. I'm gonna put this black string also. And in the line it goes, and thank you for supporting Operation Children's Health. So that's for children, you know. Enfants soleil, children, sun youth. So it's always good to go with that. And gonna stack it in, and there we go. I'm gonna check if there's available at the dollar Gonna check if it's available at the Dollarama, you know. Gonna check if it's available at the Dollarama. Hey, yeah, so there we go. Let's go, ready? Okay, that's it, that's all. Dragon versus Trump, there's the line again. There it is. Now I'm meditating, of course, about this train here. What does it carry? It's probably going east, or probably west or east, depending where the locomotive is. Not sure. I could go either east or west. I guess we're gonna see when it starts, right? Because if the locomotive is to the west, it could go either way. It could push the other way, right? That's the beauty of trains, right? So, see, in this case, like the other case, I'm not sure exactly. Is it gonna go east or is it gonna go west? Is it gonna go east or west? It can only go in this direction. But what I do know is that my Aspie mind now interjects this in a geopolitical contest, as I'm calling for the making implementation of the Great North American Census to see everybody who's been living here since 2017. The Great North American Census established language directives, French, English, you know, and the Great North American Census, and building the new currency UE by the DRT theory that I just discussed a few minutes ago. And of course, creating a common North American passport. A common North American passport. That's what it is with that. And that's what it is, you know. Anyways, so what I do now is that it probably carries some oil, petrol, or even other products from the engineering of it. If you know something about trains and you made it this far, let me know. From where you can see, you know, it's black with white inscriptions and it has numbers, and I don't see the numbers that well. I really have to go check my eyes because it's far off, you know. It's not that far away, but gotta check the numbers. But I guess those numbers represent inscriptions, you know. Represent inscriptions. Represent inscriptions, you know. Inscriptions. Oh, autism, yours truly. autism, like myself. Asperger's is a form of autism, and HFA, high functioning autism, and that's lion. That's another lion. We saw a few lions today. The electric, the electric. The electric company which makes the mostly school buses. Oh, it's about to start. Well, I say now we know more from what I can tell, because it's in big letters. Although I can go check, I guess. Can I enter here? I guess I can. Man, I really have to go check my eyes. Canadian Pacific. Let's see, is it going east or west? There's a fellow citizen there. Thank you, LOV to the workers. Give them, finance him a massage therapy session. Some LOV to my fellow citizen there who's working for the train conductors. LOV, big dragon hugs, and LOV to all those who build the railways, and got a lot of rebuilding to do. Canadian Pacific, of course, merged with Kansas City in 2023 last year to create the biggest merger, and we got to get them some firefighters with it and finance them a raise. And billionaires, millionaires, it's time to give 10% for the rebuilding of the infrastructure for wellness for the workers. It's time for the North American Collective Workers Party. It's time for the North American Collective Workers Party. It's time for the North American Collective Workers Party. It is time for the North American Collective Workers Party. It is time for the North American Collective Workers Party. You know, it's time to rebuild public-private partnership, North American revolutionary centrism for the North American civilizational complex. And I didn't see where it's heading, but I know it's Canadian Pacific, which merged last year to lay the foundation for the biggest merger in railway history, at least from the North America, and can go all the way to Mexico. Canada, US, Mexico joint. First time in history. No other railway has merged these three countries before. It was US, Mexico, they were, slightly. Canada, US, yes, but not all three countries. Canada, US, Mexico, we gotta unite. Create the UE. Create a common passport. Create a common passport and do a census, you know. And you know, we gotta come together as a family, the North American Collective, my black brothers and sisters, which, you know, I put on the table that I put from everybody else. First and foremost, money I don't have, but I would definitely finance. If I would have a billionaire, I'd have loved to give 10% if I would have had 44 billion and second chances to many people in difficulties financially, you know, homeless, veterans, vets, homeless across North America, and of course to different organizations and rebuilding the North American inner urban cities, aka the North American ghettos, and of course that's the put kisses and hugs on the table, you know, to fight racism. Sometimes we have it, eh? We're not subconscious. It's subconscious. We don't know we have it. We might say, no, I don't, but we might have certain discriminations against other people who look different, who are different, you know, different skin color, pigmentation, and sexual orientation, and definitely neurodivergence, because people with HFA, high functioning autistics, like myself, people with Asperger's, it's a high unemployment. Can you imagine? 80%, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 people with Asperger's are unemployed. That's big numbers. Those numbers are huge numbers. 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 80%. That's a very big number. Imagine that number. That's a huge number. 8 out of 10, 80%. 4 out of 5, including myself. Although I had employments which I really loved. Go HydroQuebec, go HydroQuebec, go. This edition is for HydroQuebec. Imagine brains and muscle to put all these posts here, and to put all the posts and all the electrification of the North American Collective. HydroQuebec played a major part in it. Quebec here, we're 10 million, all the way to 5 or 6 states, all the way to Manhattan Island. 20%, 1/5 of Manhattan. Oh, it's going west. Mystery solved. It's going west. It's going west. Good journey, LOV. The journey just begins. I always begin my fitness journey. Carpe diem it every day since I died of COVID, but I have hope for tomorrow. But I really thought when I had COVID in February, March, I thought that was it. I thought I was gonna die, you know. Nothing that I want to go back to, and I'm pretty happy. Joe is just financially stressed, and I'm hyper vigilant because of my trauma which I've lived, and you know, retrograde amnesia, blackouts of memories. I just have flashes of trauma, and I don't know. I did drugs, and I have trauma of unspeakable acts committed against me. Unspeakable acts committed against me. Unspeakable acts committed against me. And that's, remember, trauma and being attacked by surprise. Gotta get those hospital archives. I fell, hit my head, and dislocated my right arm. It was replaced, and I was given some medication. I was like in a coma for 5 days, for a few days. I don't know exactly how many days, but I had my own Cillian Pirate episode. I had my own Cillian Pirate episode. And here I am, you know, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, knowing that where's going is going west. I don't know what in it exactly. I could speculate. But although we got to get that North American census and build the Dragon Army, citizen integrated security, and build across North America and open centers for monitoring in public, for volunteering encouragement, for rebuilding the North American Collective, and mass finance, fitness activity, mass finance, some UEs create the universally exchange to the DRT, and mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. I could do it every day. I'll do it every day when I work out, which I perform more than 372 sessions, which I have performed more than 372 sessions, which I have performed more than 372 sessions, which I have performed more than 372 sessions, you know, which I have performed more than 372 sessions, you know. That's 300. When I reached 300, I changed my A of my surname. Dragon became Dragon. Nobody's born a dragon, not even myself. Took blood, sweat, and tears and hundreds of workout training program systems. I lost between 80 and 93 pounds. Started my fitness journey after I came out of that depression in 2017 when I crossed Canada coast to coast. 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 When I crossed Canada coast to coast in 2017, and ever since then I've been on a fitness journey, and every day it's like carpe diem it every day. I always say my fitness journey begins today now. Encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, you know. Working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice, you know. So that's how we gotta get doing with that, you know. So here I am crossing the bridge, gonna switch to that French because here we are in La Belle Province. So we gotta get that DRT in place, and saluting the firefighters, LOVE, to the firefighters, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses. My brain now switches to geopolitics in terms of potential sabotage for the trains and for the infrastructure from outside foreign influence forces, and because we got involved with different military wise, we got involved not only humanitarian and financial and with aid, but with military equipment and arms, and we made potential enemies of different powerful nation states, and we're open for sabotage. But what a beauty. Civilization is a privilege. What a beauty. Wow. What a beauty. It's going west. That way is west. Thank you, train conductors. Train conductors. Train conductors. Take that security, safety. LOV. It's open, of course. For whatever the case may be, and I gotta meditate what's in it. I would love to know. We have to do that census, and we have to know everybody who's coming in from where, the airports. We have to do a great financial, fiscal, economic, infrastructure, and citizen census. We have to do an infrastructure, economic, and citizen census. We have to do an all integrated census. Not only census, but an audit of North American Collective, an audit for the creation of the UE, a great North American audit. See everything that we got coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the trains, all the railways, all the infrastructure, all the hydroelectric plants. I gotta know everything. I gotta let everything in. Let everything in. Good journey, and gotta get that Dragon Army security and service the trade in Kansas City. See, that's why they merged. So one had Kansas City locomotive, the other had Canadian Pacific. One had Kansas City, one had so Canada, US joint, Canada, US joint, Canada, US joint. And see, this also goes west, and we got some citizens, and this is just citizens, you know. So that's just for citizens. The other one was for commerce business. So probably some. So kind of love the trains. Hey, salutations, LOV to the train conductors. Imagine all that brain and muscle just to build the railways, the technical knowledge, the brains and the muscle, and that's just to build this bridge. And as an ASPE, neurodivergence now. From today, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, legions to our family. From today, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, legions to our family. From today, pledge your allegiance, legions to our family. From today, pledge your allegiance, legions to our family, you know. It's got a friends with benefits only, friends with benefits only, friends with benefits only. So we got to get that DRT for the creation of the UE, you know, the Universal Exchange Unit. And of course, we got to rebuild the bridges. And myself, being part of a tiny minority, not just being androgynous, pansexual, part of the LGBTQ community, but Asperger's, ASPEs, people with HFA like myself who are neurodivergent. It's less than 1% of the human population, less than half of a percentile. The estimated population is 0.44%, 0.44, so less than half of a percent people have Asperger's. So that's a tiny portion. That's a fraction, less than 1 out of 300. So I gotta build bridges myself between neurodivergence, ASPEs, and neurotypicals. You can work together. Just have to understand my condition and my neurodiversity and the characteristics which can seem odd, weird, socially awkward, and movements of the body, repetition of words and sentences, and super special focused, highly intense interest, also known as obsessive interest, and weird ritualized mannerisms, which can be, and that's what it is with that. So that's what it is. So we gotta do on those things, you know, which we are on the go. So gotta take care of the body. Body's a temple for pleasure and purpose. Crossing the bridge. Grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and I'm not sure I'm gonna open that cherry bottle today. LOV to the public ambulance workers and first responders, some LOV to them. I'll give them a raise, finance them a massage therapy session. Millionaires, billionaires of North America, the firefighters, ambulance drivers, the nurses, they deserve it, earning more than yours truly. And those picking up the garbage, public sanitation workers, finance them a good massage therapy session, because I'm going to take a bath every weekend, maybe twice a week now for the better. You know, I recommend regular bathing. And for switch that French now, que je viens de la belle province. Et bienvenue. Québécois, je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été ça dans ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Je viens juste de discuter la théorie de la refusion de la dette. Votre dragon arc-en-ciel qui vous chante du rock'n'roll puis qui est analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, qui fait appel à Donald Trump de me combattre dans un combat de boxe sur la frontière Canada-États-Unis depuis 2018. C'est ça que je fais, bien sûr. Et bien sûr, aujourd'hui, cette marche est dédiée spécialement, pas juste à mon ami anonyme, à mon rêve, mais je viens de voir avant de commencer la vidéo un camion de l'HydroQuebec. Ça en fait un pensée, parce qu'il s'en allait vers la montagne, parce que je m'en dirigeais vers la montagne, mais là j'ai changé d'idée, puis j'ai dit je m'en vais vers le soleil, le pape, mon pape, pas le soleil. Dans ce 22 janvier, il fait un peu fret, mais on va survivre, on est bien habillés. Puis cette marche sur l'entraînement physique, c'est quelque chose que c'est mon intérêt spécial en tant que neurodivergent, que citoyen qui vit avec l'autisme mouvement fonctionnel aussi connu comme l'Asperger's, étant ASPE bien sûr, puis que parallèlement la géopolitique et le rock'n'roll, c'est ma trinité d'intérêts spéciaux aussi connus comme l'intérêt obsessif. Puis bien sûr depuis un matin, des fois je suis dedans. Ce matin c'était comme 4 heures. Il était comme 8 heures. À 8 heures, j'ai commencé avec mon café. J'ai 2 cafés, puis je me réveille qui est déjà quasiment à midi. Fait que j'ai passé sans pause. Je suis allé à la toilette une fois vite. Mais je s'en allais, puis je me réveille. Je dis, bon, j'ai passé 4 heures intenses, concentré. Fait que je perds la notion du temps. J'étais tellement concentré, intense quand je fais des études, des analyses de la géopolitique. Mais, bien sûr, les événements géopolitiques majeurs qui nous viennent nous rencontrer, c'est les tarifs que Donald Trump il veut imposer de 25%, c'est un quart, c'est beaucoup. Là. En 2018, il a imposé 10% seulement sur l'aluminium et l'acier, en tant que maintenant, il veut imposer 25% sur tous les biens. Sur tous les biens, sur tous les biens qu'on exporte. On exporte le plus aux États-Unis. Veut pas, notre intérêt principal fondamental, c'est d'avoir les meilleures relations avec les États-Unis, parce que notre réalité géopolitique, géographique, géopolitique et géographique, parallèlement, c'est bien ça, cette réalité-là, de côte à côte. Puis aujourd'hui, je marche, cette marche est dédiée principalement aussi au travail d'Hydro-Québec, parce qu'avant que je commence, je viens de voir le camion, bien sûr, je viens de voir le camion, puis ils se dirigeaient peut-être pour faire du travail, puis j'imagine, j'ai entendu à la radio qu'il y a des places qui n'ont pas d'électricité à cause de le froid, fait que ça a eu un gel, je sais pas toutes les choses techniques, mais bien sûr, j'ai entendu qu'il y avait un gel à ce regard, fait que je me demandais, bien sûr, qu'est-ce qu'il s'en allait faire, puis bien sûr, j'apprécie bien, l'île de Québec à se passer, puis je veux voir d'autres centrales construites, puis je veux voir aussi la baie James, c'est une place que je veux aller visiter, voir le central d'Hydro-Québec, puis toute cette lumière que maintenant je vois dans mon rencontre, quand je marche, je fais cette marche méditation de rock'n'roll, puis bien sûr dans mon téléphone intelligent avec laquelle je fais ce travail indépendant avec sur mon YouTube. Je vous conseille de tourner la tête de la gauche à droite quand vous traversez la rue, parce que des fois, ça, on sait pas, les freins fonctionnent mal. Le citoyen conducteur, ça pèse sur l'accélérateur en place de peser sur le frein. C'est des choses possibles. Ça pèse sur le frein, ça pèse pas sur le frein. À place de peser sur le frein, ça pèse sur l'accélérateur. Puis si les freins fonctionnent mal, ils lâchent. Puis c'est ça, il faut avoir la prudence. Maintenant, bien sûr, je suis dans le public moi-même. Je suis plus dans ma grotte. Fait que j'ai des responsabilités additionnelles que j'ai pas chez nous dans ma grotte. Puis je dois envoyer un peu d'amour. Salutations aux camionneurs, aux infirmières, aux boulangers, les électriciens, les plombiers, les travailleurs dans les garderies qui ont changé les couches, les enseignants, enseignantes, tous ceux qui font la production alimentaire, qui font la livraison, dans la restauration, la cuisine, chef de cuisine, les chefs, bien sûr, qui sont dans les entrepôts, avec les camionneurs, puis principalement Hydro-Québec, parce qu'avant, juste avant que je commence à filmer, j'ai vu le camion d'Hydro-Québec, je l'ai toujours ma tête, j'ai commencé toujours à faire une méditation géopolitique parce que c'est mon intérêt spécial, mon intérêt super concentré, l'intérêt spécial que les aspis comme moi-même, les neurodivergents qui vivent avec cette condition d'autisme hautement fonctionnel, aussi comme l'Asperger's. Nous, on a des intérêts qu'on appelle spéciaux, on est super concentré, super dedans, super focusé, qu'on dit, puis ça préoccupe notre routine, nos journées, puis que chez nous, depuis des années, c'est une routine. L'analyse, la théorie en géopolitique, l'entraînement physique, la danse, c'est mon sport préféré, puis l'entraînement physique que je préfère, c'est la danse. Puis même maintenant, je fais en avoir de la chorégraphie. Des fois, je fais la danse, quand vous ne voyez pas dans la vidéo, mais des fois, je fais la danse avec la main ou la tête, en marchant, tu sais. Parce que ça dépend comment je filme, là, mais... Puis du rock'n'roll, je rentre dans des trans rock'n'roll. Fait que c'est vraiment ça, ma trinité, là, d'intérêts spéciaux, puis c'est pas vraiment des... Il y a bien des gens qui disent des intérêts obsessifs, mais obsessif, c'est quand même plus négatif. Quand l'Asperger's, l'autisme fonctionnel, c'est pas vraiment négatif dans ce sens-là. Négatif, c'est pas vraiment dans le sens négatif. C'est pas négatif vraiment, mais c'est pas vraiment dans le sens négatif. 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 C'est plutôt comme une condition. On a nos forces. Puis même que, en tant qu'analyste théoricien indépendant en géopolitique, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle en 2019, en octobre, en novembre. J'ai prévu en 2019 qu'est-ce qui va se passer. De manière générale, pas à chaque détail, mais j'ai prévu, parce que c'est ça que je fais depuis des années, l'analyse de la théorie en géopolitique, j'avais prévu que là, des conflits qui n'ont pas été réglés en 20e siècle, ils vont reprendre au 21e siècle. C'est ça qui arrive. Bien, en Israël, en Palestine, il y a eu un cessez-le-feu. Il y a un cessez-le-feu. On va voir où ça s'en va avec ça. Il y a eu quand même un cessez-le-feu, mais c'est quand même un conflit qui a recommencé, qui n'a pas été capable d'avoir eu de finalité, d'avoir été réglé, qui date du 20e siècle. La Russie puis l'Ukraine aussi, c'est du temps de la guerre froide, ce conflit territorial, de géographie, géopolitique, géographique. En Chine puis le Taïwan. Taïwan, c'est la République de la Chine. La Chine, c'est la République populaire de la Chine, fondée par Mao Tse-tung. C'est encore un conflit potentiel qui peut-être s'en vient, là, majeur. Ici, bien, principalement, il faut qu'on évite le plus possible les tarifs de 25%. Parce que 25%, c'est un quart. Fait qu'un quart, un 25%, c'est énorme, là, comme... c'est un quart, là. C'est 25%, c'est un quart. 25 cents sur chaque dollar, 25 $ sur 100 $. On a des milliards qui passent à chaque jour, imaginez-vous, tu sais. Fait que le plus possible, il faut qu'on évite ça. Moi, ma proposition, c'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, puis même que c'est plus qu'une proposition parce que c'est urgent, parce qu'on est rendu à payer sur la dette publique. L'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique canadienne, c'est rendu à 46,5 milliards en 2024. Durant la COVID, ayant survécu la COVID en 2020, en février-mars, c'est bon, bientôt le mois prochain, je vais marquer 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID. Je vais marquer 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID. Je vais marquer 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID. C'était en février-mars. La première fois, je pensais que j'allais mourir en 2020, tout au début. On ne savait même pas c'était quoi. Je pensais que j'allais mourir. J'ai dit, je suis mort. Je dis souvent, je suis mort. La COVID, je suis en train de renaître. Je suis mort où j'habite maintenant dans la grotte. Je suis en train de renaître. Rien que je veux retourner en arrière. Je sais que des fois, on a tendance, tu sais. Mais c'est pour aujourd'hui, avec l'espoir pour demain quand même. Il y a des choses qui me donnent joie, même si je vis un stress financier. Je vis un stress financier, là, mais on peut quand même faire bien des choses communes avec un partenariat public-privé qu'on puisse faire ensemble. Un partenariat public-privé. Tu sais, c'est des choses qu'on peut faire quand même. Tu sais. Ensemble, vous voyez ici la fondation d'une nouvelle construction ici. Un nouveau aréna. Bien plus massif, bien plus grand que comment il était, d'après ce que je vois, qu'est-ce que j'estime là, en le voyant, parce que je suis venu faire beaucoup de bénévolat. Dans le passé, ici, j'ai fait beaucoup de bénévolat. J'ai servi de la nourriture pour Noël, pour le temps des fêtes, puis dans le passé, j'ai fait bien du bénévolat. Là, il y a du foin là-bas. Bon. Ben, c'est des travailleurs en construction, parce que moi aussi, je veux bâtir, j'ai un rêve. Mon rêve qui se manifeste comme le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, c'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé sur la frontière Canada-États-Unis. Moi aussi, je veux voir bâtir le temple de la déesse oubliée. Le temple de la déesse oubliée. Dieu a bien des temples. La déesse, on n'en a pas beaucoup, qu'est-ce que je sache. Puis, parallèlement, avec le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial. Le Colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain. Le Colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain. On constitue quand même un collectif émergent de civilisation. Un Québécois, Canadien, Nord-Américain, Nord-Américain, Canadien, Québécois, Canadien, Québécois, Nord-Américain. Vous voyez, il y a quand même un couple de millions qui a été construit pour la construction d'un centre sportif et récréatif. J'adore le sport, j'aime ça l'entraînement physique, j'encourage les gens. C'est un bon investissement. Dans mon Colisée, dans le Colisée que je veux construire sur la frontière Canada-États-Unis, de partenariat public-privé, c'est aussi pour le sport. Temple de la déesse, c'est pour la danse aussi, parallèlement au sport. Et bien sûr, la pyramide. Écarlate, c'est rouge. Écarlate, c'est un rouge vif que je vais construire, bien sûr. C'est la maison du dragon. Merci les travailleurs en construction. Je dois les remercier, les saluer les travailleurs en construction. C'est les autres qui vont bâtir, vont construire, les travailleurs en construction. Ben, je vous invite à faire l'entraînement physique, soutenir mon rêve, c'est fondamentalement un appel pour un partenariat public-privé. Bien sûr, pour un partenariat public-privé. Fait que je vous fais appel à tous et toutes, puis je vais vous discuter la TRD. Maintenant, théorie de la refusion de la dette. C'est la seule et unique solution, la TRD, parce que même le chien est en accord. Le chien aussi est encore. On a payé 46,5 milliards d'intérêts seulement sur la dette publique. En 2020, 2021, le montant était de 20,3. Ça a plus que doublé, c'est sûr, durant la COVID. En 3 ans, ça a doublé. Imaginez-vous, parallèlement, en tant que citoyen, quel intérêt que vous payez sur votre carte de crédit double. Imaginez-vous l'intérêt que vous avez payé en 2020-2021 sur votre carte de crédit. Moi, je n'en ai pas personnellement de carte de crédit. Je paye comme 11% sur ligne de crédit à la Banque royale du Canada. J'ai 10 000 de dette. J'ai 10 000 de dette. Ça, je suis en stress financier. Je suis en crise financière, mais j'ai payé mon loyer pour le mois de janvier. On est le 22 janvier. J'ai pu me permettre d'acheter quelque chose qui ne savait pas c'était quoi exactement de série. Parce que c'est tellement écrit petit. Il y avait de la misère, ils m'ont dit c'est peut-être de l'Ukraine, de la Russie ou de la Bulgarie. Le produit que j'ai acheté dans un marché était réduit de 5,99 à 2,99. C'était de la boisson parce que c'était écrit en petit en français puis en anglais, mais très petit. J'ai besoin d'une loupe, pour regarder bien comme il faut chez nous, mais c'était tellement écrit petit, je n'ai pas pu voir. J'ai demandé parce qu'il y avait c'était écrit dans d'autres langues. Tu sais, l'alphabet cyrillique, l'alphabet cyrillique. Puis ils m'ont dit ça c'est de l'ukrainien, ça c'est du russe, puis ça c'est du bulgare. Ça c'est du bulgare. Fait que je dis OK. Puis qu'ils ne savaient pas c'était d'où que ça provenait, quel pays. Fait que c'est possible que ça provient de la Bulgarie, l'Ukraine ou de la Russie, donc l'Europe de l'Est. Le produit de. C'était une boisson rouge, fait que je disais, hey, c'était à 50%, c'est pas pire, mais d'habitude c'est cher, fait que je disais, ben, je vais l'acheter peut-être pour la fin de semaine, puis avec le budget que j'ai moi-même, tu sais, un petit budget pour le restant des jours qui restent, on est le 22 janvier aujourd'hui. Donc la TRD, imaginez-vous que vous ou moi-même ou d'autres citoyens, la dette aurait doublé, là. Payer l'intérêt sur la dette a doublé, mettons, de 156 à 333. De 156 à 333. Imaginez, de 156 à 333. Fait que si l'intérêt double, ça veut dire, puis votre salaire, puis la plupart des salaires n'a pas doublé, ni l'économie canadienne, ni québécoise, en 3 ans de la COVID, au contraire, ça a diminué un peu. Ça a augmenté peut-être 2%, 3% maximum. Tu sais? Puis le salaire, il y a eu des grèves, mais il a augmenté de 5%, peut-être 10%, peut-être 15% à 3 ans, peut-être. Très rarement, double, dites-moi, mais combien de salaires qui ont doublé en 3 ans? Pas beaucoup, là, ça existe quasiment pas. Juste un coup peut-être de bonus, mais de CO qui ont fait de l'argent par la bourse, par des contrats de sport, sportifs, ou bien sûr des autres contrats d'artistique, des artistes, de très peu d'artistes, là, pas la plupart comme moi-même en crise financière, artiste, athlète, philosophe, analyste théoricien en géopolitique et mystique. Ben, bien sûr, imaginez que l'intérêt que vous payez sur votre dette double. S'il double, ça veut dire qu'il va falloir que vous coupez quelque part. Parce que votre salaire n'a pas doublé, la plupart des salaires. Mais si l'intérêt qu'on paye sur de la dette, il va falloir couper quelque part dans le budget. Couper quoi? L'électricité, il faut payer. Couper quoi? L'électricité, HydroQuebec Go, mais il faut couper à quelque part. Le loyer, il faut payer le loyer. Il faut payer l'électricité. Vous allez couper peut-être Netflix, peut-être Disney, un abonnement, peut-être le téléphone intelligent. Il va falloir que vous chargez que ça soit moins cher. L'Internet, que vous chargez que ça soit moins cher. L'Internet, tout ça. Il va falloir avoir une réduction dans le budget. Boire moins de bière, boire moins de vin, pas de bacon, ni de saucisses, ni de fromage, ni des gaufres, ni du sucré. Il va falloir couper dans le budget si ça double l'intérêt qu'à payer sur la dette. Et vous faites bien. Du patinage! Dans la vraie province, ça patine, ça donne le puck. Ah ouais, et ça tombe. Ah ouais, le rock'n'roll, ça patine. J'adore ça, le sport, voir les gens qui s'entraînent, mais ça me met toujours le sourire dans la face, puis j'encourage, c'est bon, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Comme moi-même, je viens de faire cette activité physique. Je suis physique maintenant, puis je me dirige chez nous parce que je commence à avoir faim un peu, puis je dois me diriger chez nous parce que j'ai un rendez-vous pour 6 heures, pour quelque chose. Fait que je dois rentrer chez nous, me diriger chez nous. Hier, j'ai fait plus que 6h44. 6h44, plus que 6h44 hier, plus que 6h44 de marche. J'ai encore perdu la notion du temps quand je fais des marches d'entraînement physique, comme quand je fais la géopolitique et le rock'n'roll, parce que je suis tellement intense, tellement dedans, que, tu sais, c'est ça l'Asperger, ce que je vis avec. Je vis avec ça, puis that's it, that's all. Il n'y a pas de médicaments. J'ai appris à faire la gestion de mes caractéristiques, puis à savoir que je suis différent. Puis that's it, that's all. Ça. Fait que c'est des choses comme ça. Fait que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, il n'y a pas d'autre solution. L'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique a plus que doublé, mes chers. Hein? C'est allé de 20,3 milliards, ça c'est 1 milliard 109,0 à 46,5. Parallèlement, en tant que citoyen, si votre intérêt double, il va falloir que vous coupez à quelque part. Il va falloir que vous coupez à quelque part. Il va falloir que vous coupez à quelque part. Il va falloir que vous coupez à quelque part. Là, le budget, vous voyez maintenant, je vois le train. Je sais qu'il se dirige vers l'ouest, l'ouest-ouest. Puis je mets ça, j'intègre avec mes analyses en géopolitique dans le point de vue d'un potentiel sabotage, parce qu'on s'est fait des ennemis puissants à cause de notre direction d'aider militairement, pas juste en finance humanitaire, mais militairement, on s'est fait potentiellement des ennemis puissants, des nations, pays armés des bombes nucléaires, des armes nucléaires, puis des capacités de sabotage, puis d'espionnage, sabotage, espionnage, sabotage, comme on a constaté durant la COVID avec l'HydroQuebec. Bon, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, 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 incluant mon 10 000 à la Banque royale du Canada. De côte à côte, on va convertir toute la dette publique-privée canadienne en devise des États-Unis. Principalement Canada, principalement pour des choix de préférence Canada et États-Unis en même temps. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, on va la ramasser ensemble, on va faire tout ça ensemble, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. On va prendre toute la dette convertie dans la devise des États-Unis, on va faire l'addition, Mexique, Suivre, Haïti, Cuba, mais Cuba, c'est un paradoxe de l'Amérique du Nord, mais ils font partie de l'Amérique du Nord, qu'est-ce que j'appelle le grand collectif nord-américain. Fait que la TRD, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis, dans la devise des États-Unis. Tout ça, tout cet argent-là, on va ramasser ensemble. Ça va être l'argent initial, puis tenez compte que ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, ce qui est la théorie que les Européens ont fait l'implémentation des années 90. Les Allemands ils ont détruit leur banque centrale nationale, ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Les Allemands, les Français, les Italiens, la banque centrale supranationale de plusieurs pays en France se sont mis, puis ont fait la création d'une banque centrale nationale de plus, comme européenne. Ils n'ont plus de banque nationale, centrale nationale. Ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale, ils ont une banque commune de plusieurs pays. Ils ont la même banque nationale, centrale. Plusieurs pays, maintenant, ils n'ont plus de banque. C'est comme une banque centrale internationale, si on peut dire, mais européenne, parce que c'est en Europe, là, mais quand même, c'est plusieurs pays. Fait qu'ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Nous, on va créer une banque centrale de l'Amérique du Nord. L'argent en circulation initiale, ça a été toute la dette publique-privée convertie dans la devise des États-Unis. On va faire la création d'une nouvelle monnaie basée sur la valeur du dollar des États-Unis, nommée l'UI. UI, on ne s'obstinera pas, en anglais, c'est pareil. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. UI. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. Oui. L'unité d'échange universelle basée sur la valeur des États-Unis, du dollar américain des États-Unis. On va installer un taux d'intérêt de 10% maximum après ça. Pour les prêts, après ça, ça va être 10% maximum sur tous les prêts après ça. Ça peut être 3,33, 7,18, 4,18, 9,3, 6,1, en bas de 10 par principe, en bas de 10 par principe, en bas de 10 par principe. Fait que tout cet argent-là, on va ramasser, on va mettre ensemble. Tout cet argent-là, on va ramasser, on va le mettre ensemble. On va faire, bien sûr, tout cet argent-là ensemble, ça va fonder la fondation de cette nouvelle banque en Amérique du Nord. Avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir rebâtir l'infrastructure, bâtir plus de centrales HydroQuebec, bâtir 44 tunnels, construire, bâtir 44 tunnels, basés sur la montagne cheyenne de Norad, puis le village souterrain de Montréal. On va bâtir, construire 44 tunnels, bâtir, construire, c'est construire. C'est 44 tunnels. Dans le cas, et pour la continuité du complexe de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, le collectif nord-américain, dans le cas d'une guerre nucléaire, pour la continuité, la survie de l'Amérique du Nord. Le Lion, c'est une compagnie québécoise. J'ai entendu qu'ils sont sortis de leur patron financier parce qu'ils étaient en difficulté financière, mais j'ai entendu quand même des bonnes nouvelles. C'est électrique, fait que je me demande quand même. Bien sûr, c'est quoi? Je vais jeter quelque chose à la poubelle. Ici, c'est la Banque royale. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. S'il n'y a pas d'autre solution, on va faire la création de cette nouvelle monnaie d'échange. Tournez votre tête de gauche à droite quand vous traversez la rue, parce que des fois, les freins ne fonctionnent pas, ça pèse sur l'accélérateur, puis on tombe quand même la tête de la gauche à droite. Fait que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir financer les gens en fait l'entraînement physique, financer les gens au tourisme, financer les gens au tourisme, l'entraînement physique, financer la création de 2 institutions de partenariat public-privé, l'armée du dragon, l'armée du dragon, l'armée du dragon, l'armée du dragon pour la défense, la sécurité et le service, pour la défense, la sécurité et le service seulement, pour la sécurité et le service, pour la défense seulement, l'armée du dragon, l'armée de la déesse qui danse, pour l'environnement, pour l'environnement, pour l'environnement, la sécurité puis le service, l'armée du dragon, l'armée nord-américain, Citoyen, Integree, l'armée de la déesse qui danse pour l'environnement, puis pour le plaisir, puis on va bâtir les 44 tunnels, on va financer plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec, on va construire plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec ensemble, construire plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec, puis on va bien sûr financer les gens à l'entraînement physique, financer les gens au tourisme, parce que ça fait du bien pour la santé, pour établir un esprit de corps solide, comme moi-même, avant 2017, ça fait plus que 7 ans, quand j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, ça m'a fait avoir un beau réveil, une illumination, puis j'ai dit tellement de choses à faire, à voir, que j'ai arrêté d'être en dépression. J'étais en dépression suicidaire, puis cet événement, ça m'a complètement changé la vie en 2017. En 2017, ça m'a complètement fait changer la vie, ça m'a complètement fait changer la vie, ça m'a complètement fait changer la vie dans ma vie, bien sûr. Fait que depuis ce temps-là, j'ai commencé à m'entraîner. Avant ça, j'étais en dépression suicidaire. Je m'en souviens parce que j'ai une perte de mémoire. Je m'en souviens juste avoir déménagé d'une place à Notre-Dame-de-Grâce. J'avais beaucoup de moisissures, puis j'étais malade, suicidaire. J'ai traversé le Canada, puis ça m'a complètement changé ma vie. Commencé à m'entraîner. Survécu la COVID. Pas la volonté de la déesse, puis ma volonté, je m'imagine, mais je crédite avoir survécu à la déesse, Dieu, déesse. Et bien sûr, mon travail en tant qu'artiste, athlète, philosophe et analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette pour la création de l'unité d'échange universelle, c'est bien sûr que je propose à tous et deux de soutenir mon rang puis construire sur la frontière canado-états-unienne l'armée, le temple de la déesse Souguier parallèlement au Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, ou le Colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain. Tournez votre tête la gauche à droite, tournez votre tête la gauche à droite, tournez votre tête de la gauche à droite. Et bien sûr, là, c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Et bien sûr, il y a des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Ça après, c'est la TRD. Il faut trouver une solution pour ne pas avoir des tarifs, même si j'aurais voté pour Kamala Harris, puis Joe Biden, puis je suis universel centriste. Bon, ma philosophie révolutionnaire centriste est pour le collectif nord-américain, puis basée sur ma théorie, la théorie d'intégration citoyenne, la théorie d'intégration citoyenne, parallèlement à la théorie de la refusion de la dette, parallèlement à la théorie de la refusion de la dette, et parallèlement à la théorie de la fusion démocratique pour les 2 institutions de partenariat public-privé, partenariat public-privé. Mon rêve, c'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé à travers le collectif de Civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. That's it, that's all rock and roll. Puis je t'encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique est extrêmement médecine et thérapie de choix. Ah oui, des pompes de l'entraînement physique au Québec comme québécoise. Avec le rock and roll, la gratitude de GP, mon loi, Ego, Hydro-Québec, aujourd'hui. Et il fait froid, avec pas grave, moi j'aime l'hiver, ça me dérange pas. Mon rêve se manifeste comme le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, c'est fondamentalement un appel à partenariat public-privé, PPP. Prêtez allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille, des amis avec bénéfice seulement. Prêtez allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille, des amis avec bénéfice seulement. Prêtez allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille, des amis avec bénéfice seulement. Et oui, Moi, dragon arc-en-ciel, artiste en tête philosophe. C'est dragon contre Trump. Je suis appelé à Trump pour me combattre dans un combat de boxe sur la frontière canado-états-unienne. Qu'on bâtit, construit ensemble le temple de la déesse oubliée, puis le colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain. Puis la maison du dragon, puis le temple du peuple arc-en-ciel. Amour, santé, vive du rock'n'roll, le rock'n'roll, le rock'n'roll. Ah ouais. Let's go.